starting with a topic of our just regular friendships, what does a healthy friendship look like?
Well, for me, a friendship would look like where there's mutualism. So in a healthy friendship, you do not want to be the only person putting in all the effort into reaching out to somebody. That is a telltale sign that you're in a toxic friendship. So if you are in a friendship and you are putting in all the effort and always reaching out to them and always checking on them, but they're not checking in on you, that's how you know you're kind of in a toxic friendship. But a healthy friendship is the opposite. It's where both of you are reaching out to each other, both of you care, and will check in with one another constantly. And there's a basis of mutualism. And the thing to take into account in healthy friendships is you are allowed to put your needs first. So sometimes in toxic friendships, the other person will kind of like dominate your mind, and you'll start forgetting about your own interests and your own needs. But in a healthy friendship, that other person is there to help lift you up and help you with your needs instead of you constantly helping them with theirs.
Yeah, definitely. I think another major issue when it comes to our friendships is the topic of peer pressure. And the term peer pressure kind of has this very negative connotation because, it usually refers to our friends pressuring us to do certain things or act certain ways, many of which tend to be negative in our culture. I kind of want to just say briefly that peer pressure is just the idea that the people you surround yourself are going to influence you in some way. That is going to happen. It's just a matter of who you choose to surround yourself with. Who you choose to surround yourself with will define how they influence you. So recognize whether or not the people you're surrounding yourself with are people that positively or negatively influence you. And then from there, just use common sense on whether or not it's a positive or negative effect. Definitely, at least personally for my friend group, I definitely have this very positive peer pressure of this idea that it's okay to talk about certain things and it's okay to talk about certain emotions that some groups I know are not going to talk about. And so it's just a matter of who you surround yourself with. Know what's acceptable and what's not.
I think one important thing to note also is that a good friendship between two people or however many people helps you build as a person and helps you learn things about yourself and about the world. And I think another important thing to note is that if you have a friend and they haven't really been checking in on you recently, you should, before you just assume that they're deciding to be a bad friend, take a step back and think about what's been going on in their life, and maybe they aren't really in a space to be dealing with other people's problems. So being a good friend and having a good friendship is definitely a two-way street. You have to be aware of yourself and also be aware of others.
Yeah, definitely. So next question about friendships is, which we've kind of already talked about, but what are some challenges to maintaining friendships? And one of our survey responses with this question was kind of basically, with friends, I love them a lot, but I'm not interested in the same things as them. And I think my friend group can definitely attest to this because we have a very wide variety of interests. I'm a massive geek, when it comes to Star Wars and Harry Potter, and that's the stuff I adore. And I have a friend who's totally into nature and is talking about plants and fish all the time. And yeah, it's definitely a challenge to find common ground when it comes to our specific interests because there's such a difference. But what I think is really interesting in this friendship is that because we're able to talk about things that are a little bit deeper, we're able to find more common ground within the experiences we have rather than the interests that we share, which I think is a sign that that relationship is actually maybe not on the surface level obvious that it's a good relationship because there aren't things that are in common. But at the end of the day, it's going to be more beneficial than finding someone that you can rant for hours about the death of some fictional character.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, yeah, you're not looking for friends who are the exact same as you. I mean, maybe you are, maybe you're not, but I think when you're like kind of faced with differences in hobbies or likes, dislikes, stuff like that. I think something that's common in healthy friendships and friendships that last for a long time are just interests in the same values, like the same core values. So versus being similarly interested in, for example, like you said, Joshua, Star Wars or nature, there can be things that are a little bit deeper than that. So like, for example, some values that come to my mind are like loyalty or kindness or things like that, things that you feel that you can connect to, even if you are different people, if you have different likes and dislikes and stuff, or growth or knowledge or things that bond you in kind of deeper ways than what we have just been talking about. So, I mean, finding people with similar values as you is really, really important, I think.